I looked at our past election as a ritual. Politics is a little bit like ritual warfare, only instead of the Democrats and Republicans and the Libertarians and the Greens all mounting their tanks or their cannons or their steeds with their swords and going to Washington to see who gets to win and take over for a while. It's ritualized, but it's sort of the same thing. And I think it's just astonishing that hundreds of millions of people could participate in it. And even though it is troubling and troublesome and got its really messy parts and smelly in some ways, it kind of worked. It was this huge ritual that we did, and we didn't, destroy each other, in any way. Kind of extraordinary. So you now get to take the role that was assigned to you by your karma or central casting, or however you want to say it. You got put in a pretty weird role. You know that, right? And then you get to do something with it. And this is the freedom. The freedom is that, like Arjuna, here you are and it's messy, and you don't want to go on the field of battle, but it is your task wherever you are. And then you bring your heart and you say, all right, then let me choose to do something beautiful. Howard Zinn, to be hopeful in bad times is not just foolishly romantic. It is based on the fact that human history is a history not only of cruelty, but also of compassion, sacrifice, courage, and kindness. What we choose to emphasize in this complex history will determine our lives. If we see only the worst, it destroys our capacity to do something. But if we remember those times and places, and there are so many where people have behaved magnificently, this gives us the energy to act and the possibility of sending the spinning top of the world into a beautiful direction. Oh, wise ones that you are, remember, there's a freedom just where you are to choose in the midst of anicca and change, dukkha inevitable, and all the causes and conditions. You get to choose. You get to choose your spirit no matter what. What greater gift could there be? Now remember that it's also helpful to acknowledge in changing times that there is refuge to be found. Traditionally, refuge in Buddha and Dharma and Sangha. Just take a pause for a minute. The Buddhist texts begin, "O nobly born, remember who you really are. Remember the dignity and freedom that was born in you." Yes, we humans can and do get lost in separateness and tribalism and conflict in the body of fear. But we can also see beings with unconditional love and from a place of freedom, as Nelson Mandela did in that restaurant. We can also do that. The human race tends to remember the abuses to which it has been subjected rather than the endearments. What's left of kisses? Wounds, however, leave scars. That's Bertolt Brecht. We forget the kisses sometimes and remember the trauma and the wound, but there's so much more. refuge in the Buddha to see beings with unconditional love, to understand somehow that we can turn toward this life as a bodhisattva, as a being who deliberately turns toward suffering and difficulty and says, oh, I've been called. Let me help alleviate suffering. Let me help beings be free. Even if the sun should arise in the west, the bodhisattva has only one way. When there's something difficult, their heart opens, their eyes open, they say, this is the place for me to add something beautiful. I can hear Krishna Das, my friend, chanting this song that was given to him or that he wrote from a Zen prayer from Roshi Bernie Glassman. I wish I could sing it to you in his style. I'd need a harmonium and a better voice. Calling out to hungry hearts everywhere through endless time. You who wander, you who thirst, I offer you this Bodhi mind. Calling out to hungry spirits everywhere through endless time. Calling out to hungry hearts, all the lost and the left behind. Gather round and share this meal. Your joy and your sorrow, I make it mine. Your joy and your sorrow, I make it mine.